Well, no surprises for guessing what we have today, and it's a Midland ready rescue. So I've just printed off a copy of the instructions because I'm not expecting there to be one inside, and in the instructions you get the layout and you get the wiring diagram and you get the circuit diagram. One day I'll find an original and do a better scan, because this is scanned from the photocopy that I did originally in '81. This one looks in nice condition. Right, what have we got here? A radio, a mag mount, yeah, that's seen better days, hasn't it? See whether we can buff that up somewhat. I think we'll field test this one. Telescopics in one piece. And on these sets you can use the telescopic directly on the radio. However, of course, you're tethered to the... This camera looks in the wrong position. Oh, it's not. Okay. You're tethered to the vehicle's power supply. It doesn't have batteries. So this one's April 1982. And I possibly like these, apart from the realistic, I probably like this the best. So I will have to open it up to get any figures for us, but I won't touch it till we've done a sheet of what's what with it. It's missing the hanger. There's a button like you get on the back of a mic. One of the screws are rusted, so that's a good sign. This hasn't faded as badly as some of them. We have to pop the knobs off. So what we'll do is to put it on channel 20. You get a decent sized speaker, unlike that's a bigger speaker than you get in most modern mobiles. So we need to connect it up to the test equipment, and to do that we need our Motorola RCA adapter like we used on the realistic walkie-talkies. These are readily available. We bought a few off eBay last time, so then we're presented with that for the test gear. We'll be making up a new cigarette lighter adapter, but in the meantime we'll use this with no fuse. It always worries me when that happens. You think, what's somebody done? I really can't be bothered with these. This wire's a little thinner than we'd use, but at the end of the day it shouldn't be drawing more than 900 milliamps or so. So remind ourselves how many volts this set is. It doesn't say there? What does it say on the top? Change his glasses. It says 12 volts on the top, but it might be more. Just have a look. Not supposed to be. I don't think it's supposed to be used with the engine running. It's supposed to be broken down. .12 volt. So I'm set for 12.5. I was doing that PE Ranger yesterday, which is 12.5, so we may as well leave it at that, which sounds fine to me. So that's making the right sounds, and the squelch works. Sure that's the right model, 77810, 810 UK. So we'll look at how much transmit it's doing. So go for picture in picture, press transmit, and got more than full scale deflection. It's doing 3.2 watts. Now I'm going to have to just readjust deviation because we're on a different channel yesterday. 1, 2, 1. It's 2.9. Just too high. Frequency. Test set's not been on that long, so it isn't off frequency, but we can pull it up to 27.79125, which is where it's supposed to be. That's so minor, it's you know, fine. Now to do the receive, we're going to have to get a crocodile clip on the back of the speaker, and because you can't expect things like this to have a external speaker socket, it's, you know, intended for emergency use. So we'll just put that in the signal generator. We'll have a look at the synad meter. So I'll borrow one of Mr. Chippy's crocodile clip leads. Hopefully we'll just need to connect the positive because the earth return will come through the chassis of the set. I'm right on one occasion. So there we go, it's doing 1.4 microvolts for 12 dB synad. See what it's supposed to do. I mean, I'm sure we can improve on that. You have to appreciate it's quite a simplistic receiver. It is double conversion, but it's not going to be stunning performance. Yeah, well, there's no way on this earth that it's 0.7 microvolts for 20 dB synad. No way. That's like Volkswagen fuel figures. That's really fanciful. Right, well. So having ascertained what it's doing, let's just have a look at what we're going to do. I'm sure I could dig my notes out. I'm sure we've done these many times before on here, but there's not really much I'm going to struggle with finding. I think first of all we'll do transmit. Well, we'll do the frequency, despite the test equipment not having been warmed up that long. I don't think it's going to shift that far. So press transmit and we'll adjust the reference crystal. There we go, that's now spot on. This just isn't clear enough for me to see the actual numbers. So our transmit lineup is going to be here. I'll put the soldering on ready to melt the wax. So we're on the 30 watt range, so we've now dropped to 3.1 watt as it's warmed up. That's definitely a peak. That's definitely a peak. That's definitely a peak. See whether that's melted enough to move it. Not actually in that good a shape. It has been twiddled. Now just make sure that coil stretch is supposed to be there. It is. Yep, that's fine. So we're at 3.3 watts, so we're not getting much there, and it really doesn't matter. So deviation, we're going to have a squelch preset. I would think we're going to have a deviation preset, if only I could find them. One's there. See whether I can make head and tail of any presets on this circuit. So there is a squelch preset, I can see that. I can't actually see a deviation preset, because obviously the set has got one. So let's have a think about this. The squelch preset is going to be around the MC3357 chip. And the deviation preset is going to be somewhere nearer the phase lock loop. And hang on, there's another one down there, just under the shield plate. So let's just look at that. I'll get the oscillator out. Spot on. See where that is now. Voila! It's spot on. Wow! Did it in one. So it's just a little bit high. It's now 2.2 to 2.5 kilohertz. We've done that. Done that. Done that. It's going to be a 15-minute video and we're all off. Mr. Chippy's bought a guitar amplifier, a broken one from Nottingham, so I think we're going to Nottingham. I don't think we'll put the CB on because it'll be just full of music players, won't it? And people who stand on 19 all day with burners. Receive. So we know that's going to be squelch. We know the receive lineup is here, and we know that one of these is going to be the detector. Well, let's just see if I can see which one it is. So I can see the detector on the circuit, but I can't see. Does it say L8? If it does, that way on. You know what? It does. There is an L8. So if that's the case, it's that one. So we'll put the signal generator to a 100 microvolt signal. We'll switch the oscilloscope on. It's on. And we'll go to that camera. And we'll switch that bench light off so we can see the trace. So if that's true, there we go. And that's actually an improvement. Right, put the bench light back on and turn that off. Go to the cyanide meter and drop the signal until we get 4 dBs. So also we're not saturating the FM receiver, and we'll run through the front end. Very little improvement there. A little bit of an improvement there. Considerable improvement there. Let's drop that. There we go. Now let's see what we can get now for a cyanide reading. Well, it's still greater than 1 microvolt. It's actually 1.3 microvolts. It was 1.4 before. That's it. That's where we are. Now you've got some loss in the adapter, and so on. So we'll do the squelch next. So squelch up to full. Show the attenuator. And what we're wanting to do is we want this squelch to open on full at about 100 microvolts. So 1 microvolt, 3, 10, 30, 100. So it isn't coming in. Wonder when it is coming in. It's coming in at 3 millivolts, which is far too coarse. So we'll adjust the preset. Mr. Screwdriver is probably hit this by accident, thinking it was deviation and not seeing the one which is slightly under the shield plate. No, I can't get it to come in at that. But I can there. Actually, it is coming in at 100 microvolts now. It didn't when I first twiddled it. Yes, so that's alright. That's on absolute minimum. So we'll go and do the opposite. So now we'll turn the squelch right down. I've turned the signal generator to standby, but parked it at 0.3 of a microvolt. There's threshold. Switch the signal generator back on. Let's see when it comes in. So it's coming in, it's opening at 0.75 of a microvolt. It's closing at 0.65 of a microvolt. I wonder if they mentioned squelch sensitivity. No. And there we are, we're done. So I'll turn it off, otherwise we're going to be putting it down on the transmit switch. Is this full of lovely pictures of American cars? We have to be a lady to use it. Well, they haven't got 10100. No. I'll get Mr. Chippy to make up a new DC lead for this, and really that's all that's amiss. Bit of a tune-up, 0.1 watt gained on the power, and the deviation turned down, so at least it'll be intelligible and not coming through anything other than a Fidelity 1000. And then I'll just inspect it to make sure we're not got any wires gaping out. No. So, knobs on. So we know the squelch is there. We know the channel is on 20. So carefully put it there. I think the other knob's gone on the floor, so we'll see that in another week. Right, so we'll flick round the channels. So, we may be in the middle of nowhere, but we can hear the home-based burner brigade.
Hey, you think looking Biffo not paying My wood butchers are laughing at you.
Wonder who Wood Butcher is, and I wonder who Biffo is. Oh, effing Biffo, we get that right. So, yes, wouldn't encourage anybody to buy a CB radio. I remember when I was at Nottingham Radio, somebody says, I don't know whether to have business radio or whether to have citizens band radio. So I said, well, I've got a CB radio in the car if you just want to have a C. So I switched it on, and as I flicked round the channels, there was 19, just like that, with the swearing and so on. And I'm going back to the mid-90s. He says, yeah, we'll have business radio, thank you. So there we go. But it works for us because we pick a channel, as you know, Mega Chippy Channel 31, and you know, we do what we need to do, and friends and family, it works for us. But I don't know how it ever worked. You know, the idea is you go 19 for somebody, and then you change channel, but they don't change channel. So this is the snag. So thanks for watching Midland 77810. I'll get Mr. Chippy to do a new power lead for this, and I'll do an on-the-air test from the bench this evening with him, and get that plug overhauled on the magnetic area. Then we'll do a field test. So thanks for watching.